Hey everybody, welcome back to part 3 on my Red Roses series. In this part 3, I'm working primarily on the leaves and touching up a bit on the background. You'll see here shortly in the video that it did not go according to plan. I had this grand idea of doing the bottom right corner some darker green color for the foliage, and I ended up just scraping it all off. So I wasted so much of my time experimenting with that color. However, it's all a learning process, right? I instead decided to stick with my blue background theme. I wanted it to be a gradient from light blue to a dark blue. I thought it complemented the red roses really well and didn't compete too harshly with the leaves. My intent was to keep the background foliage and the leaves non-dominating against the red roses. I did not want the eye to be caught up too much on the foliage. I wanted the eye to go directly to the roses and just have the foliage there as a nice background. However, what I did not account for is that I went so far into detail in the roses and I did not plan accordingly with enough detail for the foliage. So something I would do differently with my next painting would be to take a little bit more consideration into if I'm making my focal point, my roses, much more intricate, I need to also put a little bit more time and detail into the planning of the leaves and their structure. I needed the leaves to be realistic enough to where they matched the roses, but didn't overtake the roses with detail. I didn't want the eye to get caught up too much on the leaves. That's why I originally did them loose. But they felt too loose up next to the roses. They felt awkward, not done enough. They felt unfinished. So I feel like I needed to do a little bit more detail work in the leaves. So that's something I will be keeping in mind for my next painting. Here you can see I've added in some stem color. I've done a little bit more on some of the petals, and now I'm starting to work on adding a little bit more into the background. This is when I started deciding, I think I don't like where it's going here in the bottom right. And I went ahead and just scraped it while it was still pretty wet and decided I would touch back on it another day. So now you can see I had changed the bottom right hand corner to a deeper blue, just so the gradient of the background kind of just moves along smoothly in the background of the photo. I felt like that just suited my style a lot better and also felt a lot cleaner and a little bit more dramatic. You can see I'm adding in a lot of different colors to make form in my leaves and try to elicit shape and texture, light hitting these leaves. Again, the biggest regret I had in this stage of my painting was that I didn't take the time to detail out different shapes in the leaves ahead of time. So I was trying to elicit form and light with the colors that I was choosing, but my leaf structure was very similar throughout. Didn't allow for a lot of variation. And yes, I didn't want my leaves to be too eye-catching, but at the same time, I wanted them to look somewhat realistic so that they match the realism of my roses. So that would be the number one thing I would change in this painting, is just a little bit more detailed structure into the leaves if I'm going to be doing more of a detailed rose painting. However, I still think that they go well. I tried to warm up the green so it stood out a little bit against the cool background, but not overpowering with the very warm reds in the roses. All in all, I'm really happy with how this painting turned out. I learned a lot while doing it, and it was really fun. Like I've said in the past videos, I am a new painter. This is honestly probably my 6th painting. Like, I really haven't done this a whole lot, and I'm really enjoying learning as I go. If you saw anything in this video or my prior videos that you would like to comment on, give me any constructive feedback or criticism. I love learning. I love hearing what more experienced artists have to say and learning their techniques. I'm self-taught, just learning everything as I go on YouTube. So feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, follow if you want to watch more, and if you're a novice as well, follow along. We'll learn together. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm gonna let this painting dry for a while. I might come back to it in the future, but I'm pretty happy with it for right now. So I'm gonna let it sit. Um, so that's it for my Red Roses series. I have another project I'm already starting in the background. I'm really excited about. It's gonna be a little different. I'm doing a more of a wildlife painting. So stay tuned for more. I'll just let the video run. Have a good one.